So how have you been since our last meeting?
Amazing. Thank you very much for asking. I feel like it looks like I'm just seeing myself. It looks like I'm sitting in a chopper cockpit.
Like you're finally steering your life?
Yes, I'm staying my life. Yes, that's right. After talking to you, and I've already explored a couple of things, and I've found it is getting a little bit stable. I'm getting more things, and the clarity you have is amazing. I like your way of explaining things. It's so deep, and first of initially, like it's hard for me to understand it, but when I just understand it, it really $1 million. But
Thank you. So have you made actual changes in your life, or are you just feeling different about it?
I'm feeling different about it. Changes, I think, will happen soon because I'm slowly getting there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So can you explain more about how your feelings have changed?
Like when I used to like talk to someone, my pattern were different about thinking, and I was thinking to be more distracted, or maybe going out of the topic, jumping from one to another. But I think now I'm feeling that I'm more focused, and trying to um, trying to achieve the purpose.
Oh, so like you're finding a purpose with your actions
Yeah,
more?
yeah. So, and last conversation I had it with you, I was just thinking about that conversation a lot, and I forgot like few words because you jotted down few words in a very I would say in a very good and excellent way in a short sentences. I was really like feeling that it is so important to understand, because I think the way you explain and take the juice out of that, and you use the words, it's really hard, means for me to actually explain, but you have got the actual words. I wanted to ask you questions. Is that okay if I can ask you questions? Okay. I wrote it down last time. Because we spoke about thoughts, and we spoke about okay, so I've written something, I scribbled down, like it's hard to read my own handwriting. Let me okay, so the thoughts that are coming to our mind, serving your purpose. I think last time we discussed about that, right? The thoughts that are coming to your mind, serving you the purpose, or just a thought. It does not have a sense of of magic what you are doing. I'm sorry, actually, I can't read my handwriting. Okay, so my question is, let me just 1 second. Adriana, what I found in you is you have got a very good clarity of the things, which I'm really impressed, honest with you. Yeah. So I'm just, I wanted to ask, like you explained, whatever is, what I'm thinking, whatever the thoughts are, whatever the opinions or ideas, I think we talk about in our mind that is that serving, because you explained to me that it is serving my purpose or it's just a thought. So can you explain me a little bit more on that?
Okay. So, well, first, before going into that, did you read any of the Course of Miracles?
Answer is no.
No. Okay. All right. Well, if you read that, that would help some. I have not actually read too far. I've been doing the practices, but one of the things that points out is that there really only is truth and lie. And most of the thoughts that you have are a lie. Most of them are coming from your ego. So you want to come down to viewing your thoughts separately from yourself, because you're not your thoughts. So when your thoughts come in, you can ask yourself if that thought is serving you in the moment. Because if it's not serving you in the moment, there's no reason to associate with that thought, because the thought isn't you. And you aren't going to do anything with that thought, or that thought might bring up fear or worry. That's not serving you. A mindful space would be only focusing on the thoughts that are currently serving you, something you can take action on right in the moment, or something that's going to make you feel positive emotions in the moment. Does that make sense?
Yep. But can I ask you, interrupt you in between that? Can I say, how do you know that? How do you know? Because I've got two questions. One is when I'm actually surrounding in my thoughts, like they take me over, right? So, and I get like ruined into that. Like I feel like I'm just swimming in the thought, right? I feel like it's I've been like pushed, and the soon it comes, it takes my 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and I get like whole the story goes into my mind, the movie comes, and it gives me emotions which is I don't want it. So how can I exactly break that pattern instantly, that because it is so heavy. Like I'm giving you an example. Like last night I've been to someone's party, right? So, and I had some conversation with someone, right? So when I was in shower today, when I was brushing my teeth, I was just remembering the whole story again. It came into my mind from nowhere. I didn't want it actually, right? And it took me, and when I came out of the shower, I don't know like what things I have done in shower, right? And I forgot it. Like, did I brush my teeth? Means Do you remember that? Because I was totally in the bathroom, was not actually physically, oh sorry, not mentally actually in the bathroom. I was in the party, right? And it gave me sort of emotions which I didn't want it, but so how can I exactly break instantly that pattern, that cut?
So when you were in the shower, you were like you got in the shower, you started to have the thoughts, and then it's like you just became the thoughts and you weren't aware of taking the shower anymore.
Yes, I became thought. I became thought. Yes.
So you had no awareness of taking the shower anymore.
No, means I'm talking about today. Like sometime it happens, most of the time it happens that it take my whole presence. So
like you're aware of what you're doing. You're just so focused on the thoughts.
Yes.
Okay. Because I was gonna say, if you're going that deep, I'm at a loss. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to start slowly because it's going to take probably a while before you can start doing it, more quickly, because it is really easy to fall into your thoughts. So you start responding to your thoughts, right? So something comes up and it says, like, oh, I had that conversation yesterday. Maybe I should have said this instead. And then you think, oh, well, how would that have gone? And what should I do next time? So you're conversing with the thoughts. And so, yeah, it's easy to not realize that you're doing it. But when you do have that realization, notice it and say, you can say something like, this thought is not serving me right now. Or you can say, thank you for this thought, but I'm doing whatever right now, So then you just bring your mind back to what it is that you are currently doing. Or if it is something that you can take action on in the moment, take your mind to that and say, okay, well, what can I do about this right now? And do the action. If not, then say, okay, well, what am I going to do right now? And take your thoughts back to that. But you don't want to be hard on yourself for going into the thoughts. So you don't want to have a thought of, oh no, why am I doing this? It's not about that. It's about just taking that step back. But first you have to realize you're doing it and then actively decide to step away from it.
Yeah, I got it. And another question I have is, how do I know that it is not serving my purpose?
Well, like I said, if it's something that you can do right then that can serve you because you can do it in the moment. But if it's something like reflecting on the past, that's probably not going to serve you because you can't change the past. You are living in the present. The present is all that you can ever experience. And then also, most of the time when you reflect on the past, you're going to think about the negative things. You're going to think about what I should have done better, what I should have done and I didn't do. You're going to have negative feelings about yourself because of that. And yes, you can come back and say, okay, I'm going to do it better next time. But you're more likely to feel negative because of those thoughts. by focusing on the present, you can focus more on the positive because you're thinking about what you're doing right now, what you can do, instead of what you've done wrong.
Like Adriana, I'm giving you one another explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Can I?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say yesterday I had a meeting with someone on Zoom, and I had got two tasks which were very important yesterday, like a Zoom 1 meeting and Zoom 2 meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Zoom 2 meeting is always important for me, which I always have it every Saturday around 1 o'clock my time afternoon. But something more important came to me in the morning, which I thought, which were clashing the time in between Zoom 1 and 2. Then I thought, oh, just forget about Zoom 2. Let's do Zoom 1 because that is more important and that can give me more purpose to my business. Then I attended Zoom 1. But lately, when I finished my Zoom 1, in between that, Zoom 2 meeting was going on, and I told them I can't join today because of some personal reasons. And when Zoom 2 finished, and then I realized, oh my God, I think I should have joined that meeting because so many important topics were discussed, right? And then I kept thinking till the evening, like 3-4 hours. I thought about that what I missed it, right? I should not have done that. I should have joined that meeting because I know Zoom 1 was important for me, but why did I sacrifice Zoom 2? So thoughts took me like so heavy bundle, like, I kept reading the messages on my WhatsApp and I was checking, oh my God, what they're writing. And I don't know anything about it. They kept writing, they kept discussing, then I thought, oh my God, I'm not involved in that meeting. My God, I've lost something. And I know it's not something that I could not get it back. I can, but I don't know like why I'm like, in that it looks like somebody's coming here to capture me from head, from neck, from my chest, from my arms, hands, gripping me tightly, right? And then after a while, I thought, oh my God, emotions are coming now. It's really, and I'm losing the present moment then. I'm absolutely aware because I thought in the morning that, oh, I will be doing this. I'll be doing a lot of like designing, developing programs. I'll be making some videos. I was very excited. I said like, oh, let's go to YouTube. Let's make some videos. I like it. I would like to sit down and talk more about my products and blah, blah, blah. All like finished. Nothing. I did nothing at that moment. So just a little like passion or something like took me over, and I got it very hard, and I was started convincing me then, oh, don't worry about it, don't worry, you can get it back, you can get it back, you can get it back, because that's nothing, like, that event or the meeting was not, this was important, but we can discuss it again next week. I was trying to convince myself, but on the other hand, when I was started doing anything else, then again came into my internal dialogues, why did you miss it? You should have missed it. You are the important part of the meeting. So so that took me. So then what I did to I started watching something on YouTube which relaxes me, like some YouTube videos, music, some pop music, and some sort of thing which likes me, and it took my whole attention into that. Then for a few minutes, I felt relaxed, that I'm not in the grip of that internal dialogue. So that is sometimes makes me heavier to that I'm really, and that is nothing. That is not like related with that somebody took my $1,000 and he's not going to give me back or something like that's not like a very much intrinsic. It's just useless. And now I'm aware it's useless. At that moment, I think my mental muscle, or maybe how can I say, I don't have got a strong willpower to take me back to the present moment. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's a bit of me.
Have you been trying to stay in the present moment since we had our meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did. But
Like, is it something that you kind of forget that you should be doing throughout the day?
not really. I did not forget it.
Okay.
But the intensity of that past is too high, which is recently cluttered garbage. I would say garbage. It's a garbage, but the intensity of the garbage is too high that takes me over. So how can I feel like I should have a Caesar and I cut it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I give my injection to my head. You're numb now.
Well,
I hope I can deliver to you what I wanted to say. Is that right? Means, do you know what I mean?
Yes. So what I was going to say is I kind of made a meditation that's about releasing feelings. And I don't know if that would help with that, but what I think that would serve the purpose that you're looking for is something that I wanted to make a meditation for, but I haven't yet. Where people talk about cord cutting, and usually that's with other people, but to do cord cutting with like aspects of yourself. So it would be like cord cutting with that like ego thoughts. That way you are basically like severing it, because I mean it sounds like you have a very hard time separating yourself from those thoughts. And it's hard to kind of describe, how what's the separate of the thoughts. So it's finding, the truth within the lies. But I've said this before, but it's really just a feeling and an inner knowing. But it's buried under all of that, like water of thoughts, like you're saying. It's like it is what's drowning in those thoughts. So taking that space to recognize that you're having the thoughts and reminding yourself that you are not the thoughts, like I think would just be the step one, is realizing that you are not the thoughts. And so the thoughts don't control you. Like you don't necessarily control the thoughts either, but they don't control you.
Yeah, very deep.
Because it sounds like you are letting them control you. And just by like stating to yourself that they don't control you might help you take back some of that power.
Can you repeat it again?
What? Say it again.
Can you repeat it again, please?
By stating that the thoughts do not control you, that would help you take back some of your power.
Right. Yeah, understand that.
So if it helps, because I know you wanted these recorded, so you didn't have this to go back to. But do you remember I mentioned, well, and I linked you the video with the you being like the eye of the storm, and then the storm is your thoughts, right? So your thoughts are always going to be going everywhere, and it's going to feel overwhelming.
Yeah.
But you have an inner stillness. So if you can separate and say, I'm not all of this chaos going around, then you can start to see the stillness that's really there. And then you can get to a point that sometimes you can only see the stillness and kind of block out the craziness.
Yeah. So I need like I would say, so if I reframe it, I would say it's is that like a momentum, or is that like a stream of thoughts? Can we say it like a stream of thoughts, or momentum, or a pattern of the past?
Yeah, I mean, you can call it a stream of thoughts. You can call it like the water, if that, works best for you to imagine it, and you're, buried under the water. Actually, I have a whiteboard, but I don't think I have a marker. I was going to draw. Here, I have.
You can draw on Zoom as well?
Oh, can you?
I don't think so. I just imagine.
I don't think so.
Never used it.
I know I didn't really need to draw this, but you can even see that. So you have like the waves everywhere, but then you are like this shining sun. And the only thing about that analogy is that then it's like you kind of would have to like make an opening, right? But you don't really have to do that because you're always there. I guess to use that analogy, so if you were like a person under the water, you would need to swim out of the thoughts in order to breathe, right? But it's like learning that you really are like a fish. You can breathe within the thoughts. And it's recognizing that. Like you don't have to escape the thoughts, but by not trying to escape the thoughts, then you can learn to not perceive the thoughts. I know that sounds kind of contradictory, but by trying to escape the thoughts, you're fighting against the thoughts. So the thoughts are going to fight back. So you're not really going to get anywhere.
Can you say it again? Sorry.
You're not going to get anywhere if you're trying to fight the thoughts.
Yeah.
That's why I said before to think the thoughts. It's not about fighting them. It's about It's just about separating yourself from them.
So observance or awareness is taking me more on a disassociation level. Is that right? Or a separation level?
Yes. So you want to recognize the thoughts as like not necessarily coming from you. Some thoughts come from you, but not all of them do. And if you just recognize that, like even the ones that do come from you still aren't you. So the more that you separate yourself from the thoughts, then the easier it's going to be to say, hey, I don't want to pay attention to that thought right now. And then that's how you can start to have less thoughts. And it's not necessarily even that maybe you're having less thoughts, but that you're not recognizing that you're having thoughts. Yeah, take it like dreams. You know, you don't always remember your dreams, but you dream every single night. So it's not about fighting your thoughts so they go away.
Correct. Yeah. So it means to say, let's say, for example, if I try to convince myself that is, let's say, I'm not the thought. So let's say, for example, if I had a past moment event and it's taking me over, and then I try to imagine that how can I convince myself not to be the part. So it means to say, if I'm convincing, it means to say I'm feeding more to the thoughts. Is that right?
You can feel the thoughts because you can have true thoughts from you and you can feel the difference. So that is something that you can do. But the first step that I would suggest would be like in that moment, say, yeah, I'm not this thought. And then question, is this serving me? It's not that you don't have to go and say that no thoughts are serving you or that all past thoughts are serving you, but ask yourself if it is serving you. So going back to your example about the Zoom meeting, it served you at the beginning because then you could take action for next time and say, okay, I should do the Zoom too. But after that, that thought was no longer serving you. You already decided on what you were going to do. Thinking on what you missed out on is not going to give you anything back. It's not going to show you what you missed. It is only taking up your time and making you feel negative. So you say, is this serving me right now? No. I'm doing this right now. That is what I'm going to think about. And then if that thought comes back up again, then you can say, thank you for this thought, but I'm doing this right now.
But you know, this dissociation pattern is sometimes too much difficult. Like I did try to, you know, replicate, I'm not replicate, I do try to replace it with the existing ongoing story, but it takes time. It takes my mental muscle to build up that energy and strength to, oh, I'm back now. But in another moment, again, I go back. And then how do you say, like, what is the meaning of like feeding your thoughts? What is the exactly meaning of feeding your thoughts?
So you would think one thought and then think another thought and tell how they feel differently to you. You could feel this in like your stomach, because if it's like fear-based, you're going to feel the fear in your stomach. You can feel it in your heart. because like a love energy is going to come from your heart, or, you might feel it in your forehead if it's something that is like something spiritually resonating. Or it could be different because it really what it means to you. But a way that you could start to understand how these feel differently for you would be to create a thought that is going to be a certain way. So like you could sit there and say, I'm worthless, and feel how that feels. And then say, I am love, or I am a divine being or something, and see how that feels. And like really take notice of the differences. And like you could try other thoughts then. And then when you're having guilt thoughts come up, you can take a moment and notice how that's feeling for
you. Yeah. Thank you. Yep. Good. What exactly the meaning of ego here?
Of ego fear? I can talk. Okay, you know what the ego is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So basically all fear is going to be ego fear. It's because at least if we go with the Course in Miracles, there's only love, there's only truth. Fear comes from the lies, so everything else. So like fear is stemming from your thoughts, and usually it's coming from your past thoughts. So okay, here, what's something that you're afraid of? Heights. Okay. So have you been, at a height before?
Yes.
Yes. So when you think of your fear of heights, you are remembering that experience. Have you ever fallen before? No. Okay. But you're still connected to the thought of having that height, right?
Yeah, but I've thought of like I'll be just gone into that. I fell off.
Mm-hmm. But what is creating that thought of you falling is coming from past experiences, right? So if you've never fallen, you've still probably seen like a movie that showed someone falling, right?
Yeah, or maybe I have generated myself actually. I've created myself. It's a self-made story.
But it's still constructed from past experiences.
Yeah, maybe some movies or somewhere.
There's seriously a lesson in here that says,
which book you're reading? Bible?
The Course in Miracles.
Oh, I thought you have opened Bible.
In a way, this kind of is.
Yes. I thought you were going to read a testament for me. Oh.
Where is it? Just this one. Oh, okay. So there are 3 lessons that kind of build together for this. So you have first, I am upset because I see something that is not there, because everything is a lie. I don't know if you know anything about quantum physics or anything, but like this computer is not really here, it's really just energy. Okay. I only see the past, because like everything that you're seeing is based on your past thoughts. It's a computer because of your past experiences of it being a computer. And then my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts, as in like every thought that you're having comes from the past. And if we go even further, then you get, I see nothing as it is now, because our minds are so conditioned to focus on the past. And that's why I really would recommend you go through these, because like this might help shape your thoughts, because they build off of one another. Because like then you get, my thoughts do not mean anything because they're of the past. And my meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. Should go up with the fear, because the upset can be replaced by fear. But it's beyond that, because they're saying like you can say, I think I see a fearful world, or a dangerous world, or a hostile world, or a sad world. No matter what word you're using, it's all meaningless, because as it goes on, saying that wasn't created by God. All we're seeing is the lie that has been conditioned into us to see as our world.
So whatever I see right now is all illusionary, right?
Yes, illusion.
Oh.
We are living in an illusion. And so what you're trying to do is find the truth within the illusion.
So this is the quantum physics, right?
Well, it's all connected. Everything is connected. I don't know too much about quantum physics, but
that's very interesting.
Yeah, but it does connect with that, because it's all energy. So like particles have such space between them. There's really no reason. Like I think that this was in a documentary before, but they said like there's no real reason that touching something should have, like it shouldn't have any mass, because it's just energy, an open space. But we have trust that when we sit in a chair, it's going to hold us up.
Wow.
Like in truth, everything is energy. We are energy. Our bodies are energy. The world is energy. Our thoughts are energy.
So it's not mass.
Not really.
Wow. So then I'll be flying now a couple of minutes. Okay.
My goal. I'll make you up there in the clouds.
Maybe I'll be just soon going to California or Indiana, Texas. Okay, that's amazing. Do you have the link of the documentary which you were mentioning? Can you send it to me?
I can look for it.
Yeah,
oh, the documentary. No. Oh, the documentary. I know one. I don't know if that's specifically the one that said that, but I can link you. It's called What the Bleep Do We Know?
The bleep.
Yes.
Belief or belief?
Bleep. Like BLEEP.
What is the meaning of that?
Like it was bleeped out. Like when people swear and they bleep it out. Okay. It's called bleeping it out.
It's a new word for me.
You probably don't use it in Australia.
No. Bleep. I'll start using it. I'll see people's reaction. Understand? So what is that? What is the meaning of that? Okay, the bleep. What the bleep do we know?
Yeah.
Just writing down. Okay.
I think it's similar to like the word redacted, maybe.
What's that, sorry?
Redacted. Maybe you don't know that word either. I don't actually know the definition of redacted. I just know people use that to take out things too.
Okay, that's all right. I'll figure it out.
That's fine.
Yeah. So, the last time I sent you one link of the video, which is about non-duality.
Yes, I've now watched it.
That's okay. No, means I'm just saying because that particular quantum physics, I'm relating with that thing because this is the same thing was told in that video, it's a similar sort of thing, but that Vedanta has been talking about the same thing, that whatever you are seeing right now is not in your eyes, because your eyes is an object. And if that is an object, who is a subject? Your brain is a subject then, because you're watching from your brain, your understanding. But brain itself is an object, that because you can think of your brain now, right? And you can imagine your brain structure. So who is that who's thinking about your brain? So there is an element which is conscious about your brain. So there is someone behind the brain who's having that projection. So then they talk about there is some element which is subjective by its nature, and that is consciousness. So that is the moral of the story. I just told you in like half a minute, but this is very big. So New York has got this Society of Vedanta, which I was very impressive to listen. And he has got so many videos on YouTube, which I don't get time always like to. But when I drive, I always listen. And yeah, so this is quantum physics, right?
Yes, but then I'm also taking from the spiritual community, like my own perception of things are like majorly expanding recently. Even just today, I was watching a live stream that kept talking about how we're avatars, which is connecting to something else that I was watching about someone, because have you heard about the like theory that we're living in a simulation?
Darwin theory?
That we're living in a simulation.
Wow.
No. Yeah. So apparently,
who said that?
Well, multiple people have like tried to prove this. And I recently learned that based on the science, it's more likely that we are in a simulation than we're not.
We are in the simulation.
That we are. Like 9 out of 10, like we are probably living in a simulation. And I found different things to back that up, and spiritual is talking about it as well, because I mean, it helps with the idea of us living in an illusion though, right? It's like we're actually somewhere else and our consciousness is just here living.
Where are we then?
Within the illusion. Like
wow.
out beyond.
So you're saying like our consciousness is here, but we are actually somewhere else.
Well, so when we talk about our higher selves, like our higher self is our actual self. And they are projecting into this simulation reality. And so like the ego is kind of like that which developed within this avatar body within the illusion.
What word did you use? Advertise? Sorry.
Avatar came from the woman that did the live stream today, which is a fitting word because people use the word avatar a lot when they're talking about like a game.
Can you write it down in the chat box, please?
Yes.
I'm learning a vocabulary as well. I thought I'm learning a language. Avatar. Yeah,
Avatar, yes.
Yeah.
So people will say that when they're talking about like their video game character.
Yeah.
So that's why it like fits, because it's kind of like our higher self is playing a game. And we are only seeing the game, but we're really outside the game.
Where are we then?
We're beyond, like all of Earth is in this simulation. I know I'm just like, why don't I just blow your brain right now? Because why not?
No,
You don't have to like, agree with any of this right now. I just was like, because
No.
I can go
completely
into
agree.
like
I agree.
crazy stuff.
I bow my head. I agree with that. I okay. So okay. So technically, what I'm touching right now, what I'm feeling right now, what I'm tasting is just can I call it temporarily? Can I call it illusionary? Or can I call it sensory experiences, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I would say you can say sensory experience. You can say the illusion. It depends on what you're trying to achieve with that thought. Because if you're thinking of it as illusion, then you're focusing on that separation and getting back to a higher level with who you really are. But if you're thinking the sensory experience, then you're focusing on the actual experience. Because at the same time, we want to come into this experience. So it's so worth it to experience the experience. So it serves you to recognize like that as a pleasure, as something positive, that you can feel how soft the table is. So you don't want to, ignore that.
Yeah. So if you're saying like this higher dimension is somewhere, but it's not like, isn't it like within me that it is operating me?
That it's what?
It is not within me that it is operating me.
It's pragging you?
No, it's like, it's not me that it is operating me.
Oh, well, it's a whole thing.
I know lots of questions will
Because
be weird for you.
yeah, because I don't want to be like, oh, here's like all this stuff. But according to like channeled information, okay, so because you're asking where are we? You could be in like whatever galaxy or whatever planet, okay? Somewhere. And you wanted to come to Earth because Earth was decided to be a 3D existence, whereas beyond Earth, everything is 5D and higher. So it was created as a simulated 3D reality so that we could experience it, because that was the only way to experience it. But that got like hijacked. So we came down voluntarily, but then we got stuck. And then supposedly we were stuck because of our own creation of karma, which makes us keep reincarnating in this same Earth simulation. So it is affecting you because you're currently trapped in the 3D. Does that make sense?
So what is 5D actually?
So it is like your awareness and like time and space. So we have linear time and space here in the 3D, but that's not the truth. That is an illusion from the 3D. And so if you can get yourself out of that that framework of thinking enough, you can go beyond that, and you can actually like collapse time, expand time, and like travel distances without having to use technology to do it. And because of there not being time or space really existing, that's why it's like you exist here, but you also exist out there at the same time. Because there's different versions of you and they can all speak to you, but you drown it out because of the thoughts.
Wow.
I know.
That's
Yes, it's a lot.
No, I'm feeling like I'm traveling to the different planets now, different galaxies. I'm seeing Mars, Moon, Jupiter coming and going. That's good. That's really good. You're right. Okay. Yeah. I've got a question.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just.
No, you're good.
So, sorry for these weird sort of questions. If I do ask you, I hope like your coaching session would be a little more weird questions rather than the other coding sessions. Okay. Question is, so what is the meaning of embodied consciousness or embodied awareness? I don't understand that word. What is the meaning of embodied? Because I've heard somewhere embodied awareness. What is that?
Well, so okay, let me look up the actual definition of embody because I want to tell you what other people probably mean and then what I'll
go with you.
also say.
Don't search it.
Okay, yeah. To give body, to make concrete, to cause to become part of the body. Okay, that's what I thought. So I think what most people are meaning is just to like take it into yourself, kind of like integrate and make the consciousness come up, like to the surface, I guess. So if we're talking about your water, it's like you're coming up to the surface. But if we're thinking of it as, you know, you having your higher self and you being here, it's like you are embodying that consciousness. You are bringing that into your body.
So technically, embodied consciousness means that I'm aware of the consciousness, but I'm not achieving that consciousness. Is that right?
What do you mean by achieving the consciousness?
Let's say, means I want to reframe what I understood from you is that I'm somewhere else as a higher consciousness, right? But
you're here as well.
I'm here as well. So I'm embodied consciousness, right?
Yes. So when you're tapping into it, you are. Okay. But like if you so when you say that you like lost yourself in your thoughts for like 3 hours, you might not have been connected at that point.
Might not have been connected with what?
With your higher self. Like your higher self might have stepped back because you're like, well, I'm not going to get involved with this. But then when you pull yourself back out, your higher self would come back. And then you are embodying your consciousness again.
So is that like a travel from embodied to the real consciousness as well? Or is that the same thing?
Well, it would be the same thing because you like even though it's an avatar, it's still you. Like you're still in it, and you're not going to have your full self come in until you're at like 5D because you can't hold all of it in the 3D.
Wow. Okay. Now I'm getting there. Yep. So, right. Okay. So I'm the avatar of my own consciousness, right?
Yes.
Perfect. That's how I understood it now. So I will delete my name from tomorrow and say I'm there, but I won't tell any people that I'm Sanjeev. No. I'm just consciousness. Talk to me. That's interesting. So, right. Another question. Sorry, I'm asking a lot
No,
of,
you're
I'm
good.
clearing my doubts. I think I'll be the most frustrating person for you too. In the coaching session, you'll kill me, I know, after a couple of sessions. You start charging me $1 million for one session. Like, for example, if I'm in coma, right? When
Mhm.
I'm unconscious or in coma, or maybe when I'm in coma, let's say I'm in coma, I can open my eyes. That particular stage, am I conscious or am I unconscious? Or can I see people? Means what state I am in then? When I'm in coma, means I can see, I can open my eyes, I can breathe, I can touch, but am I conscious or am I not conscious?
That is a good question. I don't know, but I want to say that it depends. I think it would depend on your higher self. So, the channeling information that was talking about the simulation being tampered with to trap us was also talking about something really interesting. And my sister and I were planning to do a channeling session ourselves to ask about it, but we haven't yet. But they said that there are NPCs in here,
What's that?
which,
What's that?
again, I know I'm throwing out these words you don't know, but it stands for non-player characters in games. So if you play a video game, you have like the character or characters that you control, and then you have the characters you don't. And usually when you're talking about NPCs, it's like a random person standing in a village that you can talk to, and they just say lines. So basically, it sounds like these are people that either were created just within the illusion to support the illusion, and there actually is no like higher consciousness connected to them, or they're people that had their higher consciousness like step away because they were so trapped in the illusion that they didn't care to stay connected. So back to what you're saying, I think that like your higher self could have a decision there on if they're going to stay connected or not. And so I think that when you come out of the coma, like they would come back, but it would be up to them if they would stay connected during the coma. But that's just what I'm thinking. I have nothing to verify that.
Can you please, because that question disturbs me all the time. I mean, it's not disturbing, like I'm not anything about this, but I'm saying, like, when I'm in coma, I'm very much unconscious. I can see things, but that's not coming into my memory. That particular state has gone out of my life. So that time, where is my consciousness? And where, it means to say the tool, because what I always feel that to access the consciousness, to access the awareness, you need some instruments, isn't it? Like a body is an instrument, isn't it? So don't you think, like, to access the higher dimension, you need a mass, you need a physical, tangible thing, isn't it? Because if you do not have the body, how can you be aware of consciousness?
That's a 3D thought. Because you're still energy, right? Energy is never created or destroyed. Your energy, regardless of your body.
But does energy itself know that I am the energy?
You do on the deepest level. So even if you're not having consciousness within your body, you're still going to have the consciousness in all the other versions of yourself that exist. And even if you didn't say this was the only you that existed, your consciousness would go back to the source of everything. So you would still exist and be conscious, maybe in a different way, but you still would. You're never not going to be conscious. Even if you, as the avatar, became an NPC, you would still exist, just separate from yourself.
Wow.
And so, see, that brings up some worry, some fear when you think that, but there's nothing actually behind it, because that coming up is a lie.
Amazing. You're better than Eckhart Tolle.